Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Matt Bernier. The DRF bets race of the day for Thursday, February the 15th. Race number 7 at Aqueduct. We're going 1.25 miles. We're sponsored by DRF Bets. If you sign up for a DRF Bets account, you access a $200 free bet. No deposit required. It's easy. Go to drf.com/join. Please use the promo code FREEBET09. Let's take a look at this field. Again, they're going 1.25 miles on the main track at the Big A for race number 7. You can access free formulator past performances on the race of the day event page on DRF.com. The number 1 Harlan Punch, Matt, 7-5 morning line favorite. Dylan Davis takes the mount. It's only been off the board once since being claimed by David Jacobson back on August the 27th. But the question for Harlan Punch, like many in this race, distance.
Yeah, distance. I mean, that's all this race really boils down to. You would imagine from the inside you're going to have to be forward if you're Dylan Davis. Get this horse out in good order and try to get off and set some sort of a reasonable tempo if he even can clear off. The problem for him is the 2's also got some speed. Distance-wise, I have no idea if 1.25 miles is going to work. I kind of look at the overall body of work and I see mostly 7/8 kind of races, miles. I mean, now to all of a sudden think that 1.25 miles is within a scope, I'm dubious.
Has never won past a mile. Has only raced once at 1 1/8, and that was finishing 4th behind Turco Bravo, who we'll get to. That was the race 2 starts back, the Jazzle. The Timeform U.S. Pace Projector agrees with us, or we agree with the Timeform U.S. Pace Projector. The 2 run for James is probably going to be out there on the lead. This horse just destroyed a field at Parks last time out on January the 15th, winning by almost 12 lengths. Big Buyer speed figure of 90. He's lightly raced. Maybe we yet to see the best of this relatively new 4-year-old. Can he get the distance?
I don't know, to be honest with you. I mean, Shackelford, I'm always a little bit dubious. I know he won the Preakness, but I kind of feel like he's more of a middle distance horse. We saw he did so well in those races like the Met Mile. I look at this horse and say it's one thing to beat up on inferior company. I know the 3rd place finisher came back to win next out with an 85, but it's one thing to do that. It's another thing to do it against. These may not be superstars, but these are kind of old hard hitters that show up.
When riding a speed horse at this longer distance, you have 2 options if you're a rider. One, and that's try to just bottom out the field like this horse did at 1 mile last time out. Or if you're concerned about the distance, set a more rated pace and perhaps get the other horses into it earlier. How would you ride this horse?
I think you got to try to blow it open, especially because if you think, just based on the morning line and based on recent form, if you think the 1 is arguably the horse that you need to beat down on the rail and you don't know if they want to go on with it, get them off the bridle early and make them try to make a decision. If it turns into a staying contest, you're probably going to be able to outstay that one.
Number 3 is Turco Bravo. He's 9 years old. He has not won a race since the summer of 2016 at Saratoga, but the ace in his pocket is the distance. He loves additional ground. Last time out in the Jazzle, it looked like he was being outpaced a bit turning into the stretch. He really never looked like a winner, but he stayed on, and he only lost by a half length. He seems to have a little bit of tactical speed that can at least keep him in the ball game early.
Yeah, I mean, isn't there a scenario where the 1 and the 2 go, he just pulls in right behind them, and then if it does come down to just a war of attrition, I have no concerns about Turco Bravo getting 10 furlongs.
Turco Bravo's 9 years old. Next door neighbor number 4, Mills, is 8 years old. He was just claimed for $40,000 last time out by trainer David Donk. He lost a little bit of position early in that race, past some tired horses in the stretch. A win or 2 starts back, but to me it was notable that they had to ship him to Parks to get that win.
Yeah, and also this horse, he's done the majority of his real damage on the turf. I know he's won a couple races on the dirt, but I just look at him and say, from a class standpoint at this point in his career, this is a big ask, and also on a surface that I don't know that this is actually his best.
Longest shot on David Aragona's morning line is the 5, Testoster Stone at 8-1, but I think this horse has more than a puncher's chance because the distance is not going to be an issue for him. He's graded stakes placed, albeit a well-beaten second in the Great Greenwood Cup at 1.5 miles. I'm not worried about the distance. The blinker's on. That's an interesting move, trying to wake up a horse that hasn't won since April.
Well, and also the problem is, I mean, you just look and see the way that he runs. He usually comes from well out of it, and if you don't think that there's going to be a blistering pace signed on, you don't want to have too much to do. He's been facing better horses. That most recent run in the Rob, I mean, he ran into Can You Dig It and Control Group.
Control Group's just on fire.
Much better horses than what he's facing here. So if you think the combination of the class relief and the fact that maybe the distance isn't a problem for him, or maybe it is for others, I'm not going to talk to you.
He's got back races as well, fast ones that perhaps could get it done. Maybe the blinkers will make him a little bit more interested early and turn his form around. We take a look at our top selections for the Thursday race of the day. The morning line favorite is the 1 Harlan Punch, but we think the distance is the great equalizer. Turco Bravo, he hasn't won in a while, but he's run well enough to win this race.
Yeah, and you can make the case that he's the classiest horse in the race compared to who he's faced in the past, and just looking at the overall body of work. Sure, it's been a long time between drinks, but I think if this thing turns into a staggerfest late, I know he's going to stay.
while we respect Harlan Punch's consistency, I think we would fade him at this distance. If we had to use someone else in multis, because it is hard to trust an old-timer like
certainly.
Turco Bravo, would you use Run for James in the pick? Just simply, he gets loose and maybe they don't catch him?
I thought about picking him on top. You know, I guess it's going to be really interesting for me to watch and see how Harlan Punch is ridden, because I think the only way that he can win this race, I know he's sat in the past, but I think he has to go. And the problem is I don't know that he's naturally as fast as Run for James. If they're concerned about the distance, maybe Run for James gets out there all by himself and then he gets brave.
3-2 for Matt, 3-2-5 for me in the Thursday DRF Bets race of the day. And again, if you do sign up for DRF Bets, please grab that $200 free bet and start punching away. No deposit required. DRF.com/join. Promo code FREEBET09. Approximate post time for the Thursday DRF Bets race of the day, the 7th at the Big A, 3:58 Eastern. Good luck.